Hello, this is a video to explain the document templates feature in EmpowerDB. You can get to that through EmpowerDB administration and then look in data management for document templates. And I'll just kind of show you really quick what the feature even is. It's what you might think of as a mail merge. You're going to create a document. You're going to put lots of kind of markers in there. And then you're going to upload that as a template in the system. And then inside of this, a client record, next to a file upload field, there's going to be a thing that says generate one of these documents. Click on that file, and it generates the file. You can open it up, and that client's information has been swapped in. Magic. If we want to download this file onto our computer, we can do so by pressing that button there. Okay, let's just go through how to add in these documents, templates. So again, EmpowerDB administration, go to document templates, and we're going to go add a new template. It has to have a name. So here it's just whatever, generate the what. What are we generating? You can give it a fun extra icon, and then you must attach it to a file upload variable. Okay, so in many cases, you might have to create a new file upload variable to have that to kind of be where these things are being added to. For help on how to create new variables, check our other documentation, and that'll explain it a little bit better than we should do here. Okay, so now let's talk about how to create these templates, how a document template. First, it must be created in Microsoft Word or just exported as a Word file. So I'm here on Google Docs, and Google Docs can export to Word files, docx files just fine, and it cannot be PDFs. The document that you're seeing here is super simple. I'm not trying to do anything too wild. You can make your document be as ornate or simple or whatever that you want. You can have your organization's headers in here and images. All that matters is that it's a Word file and it has markers that look like this. So I'll explain now in this video kind of the syntax of these markers. If you don't care, you should stop watching this video. Or if you feel like, I get it, I'm smart, I know what I'm doing, don't worry about it. You can also, you don't have to watch this video if you feel like you get it, or you can just come to this documentation article. When we were here, we can go look at the documentation and explains the syntax, gives examples, and puts some notes. So maybe that's all you need. But for those of you who need more, I'm gonna get into it a little bit more. So first, all the markers are going to be inside of these square brackets. And then we first need to say what table are we pulling data from. So if it's something that's in the client record, like you're editing just in the information page, the table is going to be client all lowercase. Even if you use a different word for client, internally it's still called client. And then the markers are going to have the field name, the internal variable ID. So how would we get to an internal variable ID? We can go and take a look at the structure of something, edit the page structure, and we can edit any of these things to edit. Will show you the variable ID up top here. Okay, so that's why we got first name here is the internal variable ID, and then the human, written out name is, capital letters, spaces in between. But these markers need the internal coded names, so that's why we've got to do this. Okay, so we know if it's a client table, we're going to look in there. If it's a data form, it's going to be ANON as the internal table ID. kind of short for anonymous is what the choice was so many years ago. If you're pulling from the user record, you're going to make it be user. And then if you have volunteers or partners, whatever, that's always going to be partner as underscore, lowercase partner as that table. Now let's talk about what to do for points in time. So it's going to have to start with this PIT underscore prefix. And then this is the ID for that point in time. And so how would you know what the ID of a point in time is? Well, it is kind of in the address bar, the URL of your browser in lots of different places, but we thought we'd put it now and go to a point in time settings page, and you'll see point in time ID here, and it's this, it's the address. That's the internal name for this structure. Okay, and then, street, we got just the same as the other ones before. The variable ID for this one is street. Okay, one other thing to talk about point in times that might sound a little bit complicated, but I think it should be intuitive, is this file upload field is inside of the address locations point in time. This is a marker for the address locations point in time. So it's going to know that you're trying to generate a form that's based off of this data from this specific entry. We have 3 different entries. They've lived in 3 different places, but it knows just we're here in the same thing, just pull from this. If we were in any other point in time or any other, like the client record or something like this, and we had a marker for a point in time block like this, it's not going to know, wait, are you wanting to do the first one, the last one, some other random one? So since it doesn't know that, it's just going to always pick whatever the last point in time entry is. And it's because I assume that's the most common use for something like that is to pull somebody's address. And in those situations, we care most about what their latest address is. But again, like if you're, in, like, let's say you have an incident or abuse record point in time, somebody can have lots of different entries here. So you can make it so that it's going to pull the information from this incident entry. You just have to make sure the file upload variable is inside this incident entry, which you probably would want it to be in there anyways if it's about this incident. And then the marker will pull in, swap in whatever is about this incident entry that you're in. Okay, so that's point in time markers. And then now let's talk a little bit about some of the other syntax that you'll see in here. So first we can do is we can say, okay, this is simple, just put in whatever's there. But what if we want to say, well, if there is something there, put in this text. If there's not anything there, put in this text. So you actually might not use that too much. I can't really think of that many examples in which that is relevant, so I'm not going to jabber on more about it. But just want to say that we are kind of mimicking what computer programming languages do for this kind of thing. It's kind of a test for a condition, question mark, what to do if the condition is true, what to do if the condition is false. Most programming languages will make you put in this semicolon here, colon. But we figured if you don't want anything to happen, if it's false, then you can just leave this bit out. So you can just say value if this thing is filled in. Again, I can't really think of why you would want to do that, but we were trying to build things like this. We just try to make the feature be as versatile as possible. What you probably will be doing is saying, if this field equals this value, then put this text. Otherwise, put that text. And so that is what we did over here. We're saying if the client has their disability field set as 1, and so this value needs to be the internal raw value. For yes or no's, 1 is yes, 0 is no, 99 is unknown. And then for like select one fields, let's see if I can get another one. You can get that internal raw value by going to look at the options here. So counseling is not being saved as counseling, it's being saved as code 1. And so you need to be using the internal codes in these situations. So if this client is disabled, we want to put the text, "We have also verified this address meets their accessibility needs," whatever. Okay, and then we decided here we don't need to put anything if it's not true. So we don't need that. Okay. And then one last thing, 2 question marks. So in computer programming, that means if this thing exists, then use that thing, show that. But if it doesn't exist, put in this text. I'm calling it the fallback text. And so that's what we did here. So if we have the client last name, it's gonna swap in their last name. Otherwise, we're gonna put in this text, unknown last name. So you might want to do that actually quite a bit if you're worried that there's something could not be filled in and you want to have kind of just in case something isn't filled in, be put in there. And if the more you do this, the more this template will look weird in this view. But all that matters is the end result, and the end result will be, it's either going to be their name or this fallback text you do. Okay, one more kind of odd thing to keep in mind. Where were we? We were in this person's record here. This person was not disabled, so they did not have that extra text put in there. But now we have 3 line breaks in here. I don't like it. It doesn't look good. Okay, so what we actually want to do is we want to say first step. No line breaks at all here. Again, now this template doesn't look good, but again, think eyes on the prize. What's going to happen is if this person is not disabled, this will be replaced with nothingness, and it will look like that, and that is what you want. If this person is disabled, it's going to be replaced with this, which is not what you want. You want some line breaks above and below, right? So you need to be able to tell it, okay, put a line break before and put a line break after. \n is the computer programming 2 characters that mean line break. Okay, so again, everything looks so silly like this, but it'll work out. This person is disabled, it will resolve like that. And you might have to do some experimenting. You might not know exactly where you should put line breaks or if you need line breaks at all. Or this kind of marker might need to kind of be awkwardly butted up at the end of a paragraph like this. It kind of depends a lot on how you format your files. But there's just kind of, you get the general idea. You have to do some weird things, tell it to do line breaks if you need to have special line breaks in there. All right, now on the screen, you'll see the documentation article as it exists on July 29th, 2026. If you're a good ways away from that date, you should not be looking at this screen and using this as your guide for what kind of syntax should be. There's a good chance that in the amount of time that it took between the recording this video and when you're watching it, we've done all kinds of incredible things and expanded our syntax. So please just go take a look at the documentation article yourself and get the updated version of whatever our syntax is. And if you feel like you're trying to do a thing and it is not possible in our current syntax, then please write and let us know so that we know that we need to expand the capabilities and make new syntax things be possible. Gosh, did I not explain these date markers? I think I didn't explain the date markers. So here it's saying I want to put in the current date. of whenever I generated this file. So there are two different ways you can do it. The first way is just kind of the what normal people would consider a date marker, just two M's for the double month and two D's for the double D, and either 2 or 4 Y's for the year. If you want something more complicated than that, then you need to do these other types of date markers that mimic PHP's date character string forming methods. We use this in other places, like in all-in-one reports as well. So you can read through this documentation to kind of get a sense of what's all possible here. I've put in some common ways that you might want to have the date be included in there. But this isn't the only options you can do. You can kind of get a sense of like, D means the day of the week. So I want it to be abbreviated day of the week plus full month plus, 2-digit year, and kind of figure out how to do that based off of the different letters that you're seeing here. And then for just in case you want the exact time a document was generated, you can add in these characters as well to kind of formulate that exact time. Okay, that was it. I hope this was helpful to you. Please reach out to us to let us know if you need our help on getting a document template set up for you. This is definitely one of our more advanced features, and we are always very happy to support people who know they can take advantage of something like this but need a little bit of help in doing so. All right, thanks.